video, as you probably guessed from the title, is what to do when people don't like you. And I think that this is actually just such an important thing to talk about, because I think that all of us have probably suffered from it at some point and felt like just, oh my god, no one likes me. Or maybe not, maybe you're super popular or whatever. But I think, yeah, it's something that all of us have probably had an experience with. Me, myself, I had an experience like that. I had moved to a new city, I had a birthday party, and like literally no one showed up. And it was awful. So I just want to make this video, and if I can help at least even one person to feel better, then that is all I'm trying to do. So without further ado, I've got 6 points that I want to discuss on how to feel better when, or what to do when you think that people don't like you. Okay, so my first tip is to ask yourself, are you sure that they don't like you? Or are you just making assumptions and wrongly interpreting behavior? So, for example, everybody gets busy, everybody gets stressed. If, for example, this person comes in and they just like sit down, they don't even talk to you, or they don't even say hi or anything, take into consideration that it might not be you at all, it might just be them having a really bad day. Okay, so the second thing that I would do is to figure out why, if you can. So this has happened, so you've had to think about it and you're like, no, they're not just busy, they're not just stressed. It's happened on more than one occasion where they have not even acknowledged you or haven't said hi or smiled or whatever it is. And you've thought about it and you're like, no, it's definitely me that's the problem. Okay, so the next thing that I would do, figure out why if you can. Okay, so maybe ask around, ask mutual friends that you know of. You know, have they heard anything? Has this person said anything to you? You know, not in like a really obvious kind of way, but just ask them subtly. And then the other thing that I would say when I say figure out why if you can is I would say also take into consideration how you are portrayed as well. So, I mean, are you making the effort to go out there and put yourself out there and be like, hi, how's it going? Or, you know, whatever it is. Are you putting yourself out there as well? And along with that also comes resting bitch face, which I know some of us, you know, have experienced that before or may have it. I know I'll just put my hand up and say I for one definitely have it. Resting bitch face is basically like your default face, like your blank face when you're just like thinking or bored or whatever, is like kind of grumpy looking or even angry looking. So for example, my eyebrows are quite straight, so I just kind of look angry by default a lot of the time, even if I'm not. So yeah, take that into consideration as well. Okay, so my third point that I want you to think about in terms of trying to figure out what to do when people don't like you. Okay, the third thing that I want you to think about is that sometimes, not saying all the time, but sometimes it's actually, believe it or not, a good thing if people don't like you. So, for example, they might feel kind of intimidated by you or jealous of you. If, for example, you're doing really well at something, and they're struggling a little bit, they might actually just feel kind of, yeah, intimidated or jealous. I mean, along with that, especially in New Zealand, we have a massive problem with tall poppy syndrome. Okay, so that is basically like people think that you think you are better than them, when a lot of the time you don't think that at all. But that's the perception. If you are doing good at something, then people can think, oh, she thinks she's so much better than us, or like they just have like full-on resentment about the fact that you're doing well at something. Here's my point number 4. Learn not to give a which is easier said than done, but you've got to ask yourself, does it really matter if these people don't like you? You know, if it's, for example, just your work colleagues, who gives a shit? Like, I mean, that's easier said than done as well, like, because you've got to see them every day. but at the end of the day, it's just a job. You can come home at the end of it, find a new job if it's really quite difficult and unbearable, but be so focused on what you've got that nobody else can even distract you or even be like registering on your like whether or not you give a fuck scale. Okay, and now tip number 5 of what to do when people don't like you. Okay, a little bit obvious, but find people who do. I mean, it's a big world. There's like, what, more than 6 billion, 7 billion? I haven't checked my statistics lately, but it's a massive world, and there with that many people, and especially in New Zealand, I mean, not all of them are in New Zealand obviously, but there's still a lot of people here, and there will be people out there who have the same beliefs as you or the same interests as you. You just haven't found them yet. So if you really genuinely are struggling and you think, I can't figure out why they don't like me, I don't know why, I'm doing my best, I am coming across as best as I can, but they still don't want to be around me, I've learned not to give a fuck and it's still really hard, find people who do like you, okay? Find a club, like whatever it is you're interested in, get out there and find groups of that interest. My final point of what to do when people don't like you is to forget about, you know, I was going to say forget about socializing, but that sounds like you're going to be a recluse. But that's, what I mean to say is find other stuff to focus on. Find other projects, you know, start new projects, find other stuff to focus on, you know, do some exercise, get out there, you know, do stuff for yourself. Like, it doesn't, you know, at the end of the day, socializing, yes, is fun, but it doesn't actually, you know, most things can actually be done just by yourself. You don't actually have to have people with you all of the time. So I guess the final point is do stuff for yourself and actually, you know, get to know yourself, you know, feel okay about doing stuff alone, because it's actually, it's not the end of the world if you have to do stuff alone. Like, it's actually quite liberating sometimes and quite empowering, to be honest, because you can do whatever the hell you want to do, you know, you can just, I mean, you're free, you've got your freedom, grown-ass adult, so yeah, focus on yourself, get some own inner projects going, do some exercise, and just, yeah, let it happen naturally.